Are you seeing it? Yes. We're live here. I see it coming up now. Good afternoon, friends. Dane here at Sit, Stay, and Play. It's been a while since I've seen you guys. I'm glad to have you back. Hope this video is informative to you. And I hope that January has brought you a happy and prosperous new year for you and for your puppies. Okay, today I want to talk about a couple of topics. The first is we have some news on the CGC, the Canine Good Citizenship Test front. There are a number of tests here, and whether you're new to them and you've never heard of them before, or whether you've maybe taken one or two of the tests and you need a primer about where you can go next, hopefully I can answer those questions for you. The first test, and it's the one that's got a little bit of news to it, is the STAR puppy test. STAR standing for socialization, training, activity, and responsibility. It's been around for a few years. It's a test we use at the end of our beginner introductory class. It's for puppies less than a year old, but of course doing it for older dogs is a great opportunity to make sure their training is on the right track at the end of their beginner or puppy obedience class. It's just that. It's a test of, are we doing the right thing? Is my dog starting to get the right idea? Can my dog sit when asked? Can my dog do it down? Does my dog understand what that's all about? Can they wait, stay there for just a second for us? Will they allow somebody to come up and say hi to them? Are they getting understanding of how to interact with the world around them? It's not a hard test. As Dagan says all the time, it's an open treat test. We can get the treats out, we can lure, we can reward. You might even say we can bribe and cajole a little bit in order to get our puppies to show what they know so far. It's new in the AKC sense that it is now a titling test. Once your dog passes this in their American Kennel Club AKC records, they can be listed as having that title starting this month. It's brand new to the AKC. But again, it's a simple test. It's just asking, am I heading in the right direction? Is my dog getting the basic concepts of what they're supposed to know? Now, the grandfather of all the tests in this category is the actual CGC, the Canine Good Citizenship Test. It's now 35 years old and really is become a real standard in the industry, if you would, of test of a good, socialized, well-behaved dog. We're looking for things like grooming and appearance, not just having the owner check, but will the dog handle having a stranger come up and pet and examine, look in their ears, pick up and examine a paw. Good basic skills that you want your dog to have down when they have to interact with somebody, have to stay in boarding, or when you're at the vets. We want to make sure we have those down. How well do they do out for a walk? We want to make sure on our STAR puppy test that they do a presentable job. They understand what being on the end of a leash is all about. But in the Canine Good Citizenship Test, the CGC, you have to demonstrate that you can take your dog on a walk on a leash and you can turn left, you can turn right, you can do an about turn, and your dog will go along with you and not be bothered or frightened or confused by your change in direction. Will your dog walk in a crowd? We use this term very loosely. Will they walk past 2 or 3 people without causing havoc? Without jumping on every single person? Can you keep their attention focused on you and walk past other people? That's really what we're looking at this point in the game. Sitting down, just like we did in our STAR puppy test, but we're going to do sit and down, and then they need to wait while you move away from the dog. We're going to do it on a 20-foot line for safety purposes, but do they understand staying in position so well that you can move away from them? Will they come when called to you? Not just on a little short leash, but when you're at least 10 feet away. Can you get them to come to you when called? We're going to be assessing that on this test also. And how well do they react or really don't react to another dog? Nothing more than casual interest in the other dog, but you can keep their focus on you. And will they be okay away from you? Do they understand that somebody else can be trusted and that you leave? And we're going to test this on this test by you're handing the leash over to somebody else and you go out of sight and out of sound range for 3 minutes and see that your dog does not overly panic or cause a problem when left with a stranger for that period of time. All of these things, in addition to the fact that they're harder than what we did with the Star Puppy test, all of these things are no treats allowed. Take those treats, leave them outside the ring. Can we get all of these behaviors in a testing environment with no treats given to the dog? And that's the basic test, the CGC, the grandmother of them all. A test recently, we're hearing more and more about landlords and insurance, homeowners insurance companies requiring that you have in order to have a dog and rent from particular landlords or have the regular base insurance policy from the insurance companies. They're becoming more and more important that dogs pass this test. So, are we done? Have we done everything? A lot of people think so because that's the test we're shooting for, but we have a couple of other tests that are also available for evaluating our dogs. We have the community test, the AKC Community Canine, the CGCA. It's called that because it used to be the Advanced Canine Good Citizenship Test. What's happening here is we're going to take the same skills that we had when we did our CGC, and we're adding more distractions. Can your dog sit, stay, and down while you're doing something else? Like you come into the test, you get your dog to do a sit and a down, and they stay there while you fill out the required paperwork, and they have to stay there until you're finished. Or can you sit with them and have a conversation with somebody, and your dog stays in place while that conversation's going on? We're adding distractions there. We're adding distractions with the loose leash. Not just can your dog walk loosely on a leash in the ring where we did our test, but can we go outside and walk down the sidewalk? Can we go out into a parking lot or into a park and walk past other people and other dogs? And your dog demonstrates they understand how to behave in that environment. So walking through a crowd actually has more meaning. There's more distractions involved for them. Maybe a fair, a trail, or a busy hallway. Can they go through a crowd in that kind of environment? And with other people and their dogs. Can not just your dog sit and stay, but can you get your dog to sit and stay while 3 other people and their dogs have gathered around in a cluster in a circle, and they get their dogs to sit and stay too? Will your dog stay in that kind of environment and stay there regardless of what the other activities going on for at least 30 seconds, and maybe only being 3 feet away from another dog and other people? Also, not only are they going to get to the point of being able to be introduced to strangers, but could a stranger who looks funny to the dog, who's carrying a box or a package or something like that, come up and pet your dog? We're going to assess that because that would be a real life community situation that they might need to deal with. And we're going to really test doorway skills. Can you go through a doorway in or out of a building without your dog dragging you through and making a big deal? Do they understand? Wait at the doorway and then go through calmly and quietly with you. That's our community or our advanced CGC test. And we also can move from there to the urban test. These two are not sequential. You can do them in any order, but we're going to take those distractions and we're going to apply them to more urban type environments. Is your dog understanding doorway skills, going in and out of a dog-friendly public building? Can they walk down a crowded urban sidewalk and behave appropriately? Can they react to city distractions, cars honking their horns, bicycles zooming by, skateboards, carts, people running, jogging around, all kinds of environmental factors, buildings, walls, fences, and things like that? Are those distractions that your dog can overcome, the things you would see in an urban city type environment? We're going to, for the first time, begin to assess your dog's ability to safely walk across the street. Stop, wait for you for permission to go, and then calmly and in control walk across the street with you. People walking by and wanting to pet your dog in an urban, busy environment like that will be evaluated, as well as their ability to go into a public dog-friendly building, and to do a downstay in a strange public space like this and stay in that position in a space like that for 3 minutes with you there monitoring their behavior. And we want to make sure that the dogs can go up and down steps, and maybe even evaluate it to see how well they can go in and up and down and back out of an elevator, and how well they deal with transportation. Will your dog get into a cab, onto a bus, onto a subway, and understand staying there and get off and get out when you say so? Those are also going to be evaluated with the urban canine good citizenship test. So I've introduced you very quickly here to 4 different tests, 1 pre-canine good citizenship test and 2 post-test, along with the basic canine good citizenship test. If you have any interest in these, we would love to be able to answer your questions. Please reach out to us. You can also reach out and look at the CGC section of the the American Kennel Club's website and see exactly, specifically, what the tests include and are evaluating. If you're a current student here, we're proud and happy to tell you that all our instructors are evaluators for all of these tests and are happy and willing to administer them when you and your dog are ready, and if you're currently enrolled in class, not charge you anything for doing that evaluation. Your only charge at this point would be filing your successful passing scores with the the American Kennel Club. This was a fast, quick, and dirty review of these tests, but like I said, if it piqued your interest, do you have any more questions? Bring those questions into your instructor in class, or stop by and give us a call, and we'd be happy to go into more detail and sit you down a path of being ready to take 1, 2, maybe all 4 of these tests. Hope you're having a good, safe winter, and before I say goodbye, I want to remind you a couple of things about winter. Winter has its own hazards for our dogs, not the least of it, which I've been seeing a lot around, is things that people put out to make sure that ice melts. Please, if that's the case, when you walk your dog, bring your dog in and wash their paws before they get a chance to wash their paws and ingest whatever kind of chemicals and other substances, even salt, that may be on their paws from winterization. Always monitor your dog's behavior. Let them be your guide. Some dogs, especially smaller dogs, thinner dogs, dogs with less heavy coats, and dogs of breeds that come from warmer climates, they may need you to put a coat on them to keep them warm in these cold temperatures, and maybe even so far as putting booties on them, because they do regulate their body temperature through their paws, and it would prevent getting the chemicals and stuff in their paws. Well, lots of things to think about in wintertime, but those are just a few thoughts that I thought I'd say goodbye to you with. And I hope to see you around here on Facebook again for my next live. I hope to see you sometime over the next few weeks, next month at the latest. Take care, have a good day, and give your pups an extra scratch for me.
Ask you also.